So what if you could build a profitable online business, but you have no audience and not even a product idea to start with? Sounds impossible, right? Well, today we're going to break down a proven, step-by-step plan to launch a digital product business from absolute scratch. If you've ever thought about creating an online income stream, trust me, this is where you start.
All right, here's the game plan. We're going to start from scratch, then find the right product, talk about design and specialization, pick your selling platform, and finally, I'll give you some tips for making that very first sale. Let's do this. This right here, this is the question that stops so many people dead in their tracks. You know you need a product to get an audience, but you need an audience to sell a product. It's that classic chicken and egg problem. But honestly, the solution is way simpler than you think. Let's break it all down.
Okay, let's dive in. This plan, it's not some theory. It's built on years of trial and, let's be honest, a lot of error. The whole point is to help you learn from the common mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. We're going to help you sidestep all those pitfalls that trip up most new businesses.
Let's get right to it. The number one absolute biggest mistake you can make. It's not having a bad design or pricing it wrong. Nope. It's spending weeks, maybe even months, creating what you think is the perfect product, only to launch it to the sound of crickets. No one wants it. This one thing is why most people fail before they even get started. So how do we avoid that fatal error? Simple. We flip the entire process completely on its head. And pay attention because this next step is probably the most important one of all. Instead of creating a product and then desperately looking for customers, we're going to find out what people already want to buy first.
This is a really crucial mindset shift, so I want you to really let this sink in. You need to stop asking, what cool product can I create? And instead start asking, what products are people already buying? See the difference? We are officially throwing guesswork out the window and replacing it with cold, hard data.
And the best part, the process for finding that data is incredibly simple. Seriously, anyone can do this. You just go to a huge marketplace, something like Etsy. You browse through the popular digital product categories, and you just look for items that have a ton of reviews. That's it. Those reviews, that's your golden ticket. That's your proof that people want this stuff.
Okay, check this out. Here's a real-world example I pulled from Etsy. It's a digital planner, and it has 342 reviews. Now, you might look at that and think, 342, that's not that many. But you'd be wrong. That number is actually a huge flashing neon sign that points to consistent demand and a lot of sales.
So how do we figure out how many sales that really is? Well, here's a little trick, a simple formula. It's a pretty well-known rule of thumb in e-commerce that only about 1%, just one, of customers actually bother to leave a review. So to get a rough estimate of total sales, you just multiply the number of reviews by 100.
So when we do that quick math, those 342 reviews suddenly turn into roughly 34,200 sales. And that's just since the beginning of 2024. That's incredible. And again, this isn't a wild guess. It's a data-backed signal that this product has proven consistent demand.
Okay, so you've found a winner. You know that digital notebooks are selling like crazy. But how do you possibly compete in a market like that? Well, that brings us right to our next step, taking that proven idea and making it your own.
All right, here's the secret to standing out in a crowded space. You ready? Don't create a generic one-size-fits-all product. You need to specialize. Think about it. Instead of a plain old notebook for everyone, you're going to create the perfect notebook for a very specific kind of person.
What do I mean by that? Well, for example, you could design a notebook specifically for university students, with sections for lecture notes and assignment deadlines. Or maybe one just for project managers to track their timelines and tasks, or even a super simple to-do list designed for office employees. See? Each one solves a very specific problem for a specific group.
And the best part is, you don't need to be a graphic designer or buy fancy software. Nope. A free tool like Canva is literally all you need. It's so easy. You just create a custom size, maybe add a cool background pattern, design a simple cover with a text box, make one-lined page for notes, and then just duplicate that page, 20, 50, 100 times. Done.
Okay, your product is designed. Now it's time to set up your selling platform, basically your little business ecosystem. We're going to look at the platforms that will handle all the selling and delivery for you, so you can create a business that's pretty much automated.
This is your digital business toolkit. It's the whole shebang, and it's designed to be super low cost and basically zero risk. You've got Canva for all your design and creation. You've got Etsy, which is your marketplace where the customers already are. And hey, if you want to get fancy and offer a physical version, a print-on-demand service like Printify will print and ship it for you. That means you never have to see or touch any inventory, ever.
You know, the real magic here, the secret weapon, is Etsy. Why? Because the audience is already there. They're already on the site searching for stuff to buy. This lets you skip the single hardest part of starting a business, building a brand, making a website, growing a social media following. Forget all that. You're putting your product directly in front of people who are ready to buy.
All right, your shop is up. Your product is ready to go. So, now what? How do you get that ball rolling and make your first sale? In this last section, we're going to cover 4 key strategies to get those all-important first sales and start building some real momentum.
Okay, 4 things. First, you've got to optimize your listing with good keywords. That's how people find you on Etsy. Second, create absolutely beautiful and realistic product mock-up images. You want people to see what your product looks like in real life. Third, and this is a big one, offer a crazy launch discount. I'm talking 70, even 80% off. The goal right now isn't profit, it's reviews. And last but not least, you got to be patient. The first few sales are always the hardest.
Let me explain exactly why that aggressive discount is so important. Those first few reviews, they're pure gold. They're what we call social proof. They build trust, and that encourages new people to buy from you. And, just as important, they send a powerful signal to Etsy's algorithm that your product is a hit, which means Etsy will start showing it to way more people. It's a snowball effect.
And that's it. That is the complete blueprint, a clear path to go from nothing to making your first sale. You now know how to find a validated idea, how to specialize it to make it unique, how to design it for free, and how to launch it to an audience that's already waiting. The path is all laid out for you. So the only question left is, what is the first digital product you're going to start with?